E3 week is done and over with. I'm so excited I got to go this year, and quite frankly I enjoyed every single second I spent on the show floor. And while I'm already looking forward to next year's E3, quite frankly all I have left now are the memories I created at this year. And one of those great memories was my first-hand look and on-hand gameplay experience with the new Sega Genesis mini console. E3 2019 was actually the first time journalists and the general public got to have some actual on-hand experience and gameplay with the new Sega Genesis mini console. In fact, when you first walked up to the Sega booth, you were greeted with this beautiful display case that had an original Sega Genesis Model 1, as well as the new little brother Sega Genesis mini console. In fact, Sega went so far to play some tongue-in-cheek games as far as the Sega Mini concept was concerned by blowing up a giant version of the original Sega Genesis 3-button controller that you could actually play and test out. Although I gotta say, my experience playing the giant controller was not exactly a positive one, because it definitely was treated like a gross, sweaty workout bench, and that it was very wet and sticky from a lot of people having their palms grossly greasing it up. So yeah, definitely needed the wipe down rule in effect on this one. The decorations of the Sega booth at E3 were amazing. In fact, they were very nostalgic in that they took you down a trip towards memory lane. When you walked up to the gameplay station, you were greeted with a wood panel wall that had old classic Sega posters on every corner of it. You sat down in a cushy beanbag chair to play the game, and they even went so far as to put LCD screens in the wall, but they put CRT monitors surrounding the bezel of the TV to really nail down that look. And even icing on the cake, they put VHS tapes in the console that actually held the Sega Genesis mini console. All 42 of the launch titles for the Sega Genesis mini console were already accessible during this gameplay demo experience. I personally went with Virtua Fighter 2 as well as Mega Man The Wily Wars to go and test these out and put them through the paces as far as checking how well the games really were emulated from M2. After my gameplay experience was done and over with, the Sega employee handed me a red ticket and told me to pick up my prize. Befuddled as I was because I thought the prize was merely just getting to play the console early, I took the ticket over to the booth and I was happily greeted by picking up this prize, which is this amazing Sega historical t-shirt that has the entire history of the Sega consoles from the brand start to finish to current date. And quite frankly, this is amazing. Like, I'm a huge Sega fanboy to begin with, so to have this wonderful historical piece of clothing, well, that's extra icing on the cake, so to speak, because I'd have paid money and bought this regardless, and I got it for free just for doing something I already wanted to do for free. Overall, my experience with the Sega mini console was a very positive one. The gameplay was really smooth, very tight, the emulation from M2 is spot on, so absolutely no worries there. The controller itself, while it does feel less than desirable, it is historically accurate. It just feels extra lightweight after 20 years of modern console gaming with weighted controllers that have vibration, things like that. It feels super light, but it is, it is accurate. And while I do wish we had a 6-button controller coming, because the Japanese mini console will be getting the 6-button controller, it is technically historically accurate because the North American Model 1 Genesis only shipped with a 3-button controller. So that's definitely something I'm a little bit disappointed. Games like Street Fighter are very difficult to play on a 3-button controller because you have to hit things like the start button to switch over to your other set of buttons and back and forth. So if you're trying to pull off super special combos and things like that in Street Fighter, well, guess what? It's going to be a little bit difficult. And as far as the little mini console itself, well, quite frankly, it looks like they nailed all the details. The cart slot actually opens and closes while there's no functionality to it. It is pretty cool that you can actually put things in and out and the little door flaps open, as well as the volume slider. It goes up and down, and the reset button it depresses. There's also the side expansion port slot that actually the piece of plastic comes off the Sega mini console, where you could hypothetically add a mini Sega CD. And you're thinking, well, why would I ever want to do that? Such a thing probably doesn't exist. Actually, there is, because in Japan there's actually some bundle options to where you can get a faux Sega 32X and faux Sega CD add-on to your Sega mini console, and you could form the Megazord of Sega consoles. Something I am definitely interested in North America, but I will likely have to import because, quite frankly, it doesn't look like there's any sign or sight of something like this coming to North America, unfortunately. But anyways, guys, that does it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the Sega Genesis Classic console. If you're gonna pick up one, let me know. If you're interested in pre-ordering one of the Sega Mini consoles, I've got various store links down in the video description box below. Also, if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know every time I upload new content. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.